Do you have somebody in your life whose behaviors annoy you sometimes? Whose behaviors are difficult to deal with? Today I'm going to remind you of a very simple slogan that I teach all of my clients and that I think will help you dealing with people in your life who you love who may have behaviors at times that are difficult to deal with. And that slogan is, how important is it? Now, what's important to remember in your daily life is that your behaviors are important. The way you treat yourself, the way that you decide to behave in your daily life, the things that you choose to do, your job maybe, the people that you choose to associate with, those things are extremely important. And when somebody in your life that you love is engaged maybe in substance use, maybe has a difficult set of mental health symptoms, or maybe is just in a stage of acting out or engaging in destructive behaviors, we have to slow things down for ourselves and ask ourselves, how important is it? How important is it that I try to control their behavior? How important is it that I try to get them to stop? How important is it that I get them to agree that I'm right? And the answer to that question is it's not important at all. That person isn't going to change their behaviors because we want them to. As much as we want them to, and as hard as that is to hear, we have to let go. We have to detach. And I talk with my clients in my clinical practice about this pretty much every single week. This concept comes up, especially early on in our work on our mental health, is that I have to take the emphasis off of the other person's behavior and put the emphasis on my own, which is a place where I do have some control. If I can start to prioritize myself, then when I look at somebody else's behaviors, I can really ask myself, how important is it for me to be involved in whatever it is that they have going on? And this can be really difficult because we do live in a day and age where substance use is on the rise. We live in a day and age where it's not just substance use and abuse. We're dealing with substances that are extremely dangerous, fentanyl being one of the most dangerous, I mean, probably the most dangerous, and it's heavily accessible. And so if you're dealing with someone in your life who's got a substance use problem, my heart goes out to you, but what we have to remember is that we can't control their behaviors. The consequences of their behaviors is what's ultimately going to lead them to the changes that they need to make. And in the meantime, we can keep them in our prayers and in our thoughts, and we can wish the best for them. And the good news is there is hope, right? And that hope comes in the form of recovery, and I work with those individuals as well in 12-step recovery to sustain sobriety and to obtain recovery. And I teach them as well, how important is it? How important is it to engage in the behavior that's destructive? How important is it to continue engaging in what we call character defects, right? Things that don't work for you but feel really comfortable but may cause conflict in your relationships. And that's not just important for the addict or the alcoholic to look at. That's important for the loved ones of the addicts and the alcoholics. It's important for the loved ones of a person with primary mental health symptoms going on to look and ask ourselves, how important is it that that other person live the way I want them to? And essentially, we do live in a society where we've been taught that we have a lot of control, and the reality is, for our own sake, our own mental health, we have to relinquish that control. And that's a difficult proposition to make. It's a difficult bridge to cross for a lot of people because we want that control. The common thought is, if they would just do it my way, everything would be okay. And the reality is if they did it your way, they probably wouldn't ever change, right? They probably would get worse. And I don't say that because your way is bad. I say it because it's not their way, right? Their way towards their higher power, their way towards sobriety, their way towards recovery is uniquely different from the way you would do it. And what we want to learn to do is to give the people we love dignity to find those things on their own. Because I tell my clients this, no adult likes to be told how to live their life. No adult likes that. You don't like it, I don't like it. The person that we love on the other end who's engaged in destructive behaviors doesn't like it. So we have to give them the dignity to live their own lives, to make their own mistakes. And a good way I've found to do that, and a good way that my clients have found to do that, is to ask themselves when they're in difficult situations, how important is it that I have my way right now? How important is it that I get my point across right now? How important is it that I get this person to change? The answer is probably not very important at all. And what is important is some compassion, maybe some understanding, maybe some boundaries, right? So that you're not engaged in that destructive behavior with them. And if you're interested in conversations on boundaries, check out some of my other videos where we talk about different types of boundaries, how boundaries work, how to set them. And believe it or not, asking yourself how important is it is a wonderful internal boundary, right? To check in with yourself and to see the pattern, right? And I think what I'll add on that is seeing the pattern of how many times have I engaged in trying to change someone's behavior to no avail. And when you see that every attempt that we've ever made didn't change the other person's behaviors, that they just continued behaving the way that they were behaving, is a really wonderful way to start to check ourselves. It's a really powerful way to start to see that I don't have any control over another person, that I am my primary objective and I need to take care of my own needs. I need to take care of my daily tasks. I need to make sure I am in a healthy place, and the rest will follow. And I want to encourage you, because it can be really, really hard to let go of someone else's behaviors. But I want to encourage you that there's millions of people that are out there who are doing it too. And so if you're listening to this video and you're struggling with substance use, or you have maybe some struggles with your mental health, I would encourage things like Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, 12-step programs for you. And if you have a primary mental health struggle, right, like depression, anxiety, I would encourage you reach out for therapy. If you're the loved one who has a friend or a family member or a significant other who's struggling with substance use, I would encourage you to look at the program of Al-Anon. I'll have some of those links in the description. And these are programs of people who are seeking solution and who are utilizing healthy boundaries in their relationships. And I would highly, highly encourage those programs. But those are just my thoughts. I'd love to hear what you think, and feel free to leave a comment down below, and we'll keep on moving along towards the journey of mental health and well-being. I think that's all I got for today. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I love you. Bye.